Hey there, this is Ginger from Ginger Snapshots. Hey, this week I am still talking about Raleno lighting. All right, so what do I know about it? What do you know about it? That's what I'd like to know. I am learning about LED panels, and last week I talked about it setting up and getting established to have a better, smaller footprint of a desktop setup. And I'm happy with that. I've got that set up, and you can watch that video if you want to watch that. But now I'm using a larger Raleno LED light panel in the studio. And what I have is a softbox that was, I think it was about $40 off of Amazon, that just Velcros on the back of it. So it is actually, has more of a softening to it. But it's only 4 inches wide, so it's completely different than what I was using. I was using a softbox by Limo Studio that was about this large, about this wide, and it just kind of, when you're already in a smaller space, my studio is not tiny, but it's small. And then when I have large lights. I love large lights. Okay, so with newborns, I use a 64-inch PLM. I have a 34-inch beauty dish, and then I have another light that serves as a backlight, or for backlighting, I have it behind a curtain. And then I have a smaller light that is actually smaller, that is for the hair light. But I have these different lights already that's always set up in the studio. Now I might swap out one of the light boxes for the umbrella, that type of thing. But normally these are always set up. So I have them in here, and I just didn't need to have another large light in here, so I was just taking it, doing a video, and then going back to the house. And I have not been doing videos as much lately because I am knee deep in a school project that I'm trying to finish to graduate this year, which I hope to. Yes. So I'm working on that right now. That is a lot of work, so that if you've looked for videos and haven't seen them, that would probably be why. If you want to know anything about strategic planning and church administration, hit me up and I can help you out there. And I just needed a break from that today, and so I'm in the studio, and this is like my happy place. This is where it's like, I just love being in here. Okay, so back to the lighting. All right, so what I have is an 18-inch, and that's diagonal. That's how they measure it. An 18-inch 45-watt Raleno LED panel that has about a 95, 97, I can't remember, CRI. So it's higher up there like that. It's a higher CRI rating. With a remote control that will allow me to change the color temperature of it all the way down to 32K. And I really do love the remote control. All right, so here is the 56K, and that's what I normally set it at. That's more of a daylight. When I did use the softbox, I had a light bulb that was daylight balanced, so it was right about 56K as well. And this is at, this is 100%, and I will take this all the way down. All right, this is 0, so this is what it would be without having that. Now you can see that I have some other light in here. It is daytime outside right now, so there is some ambient light coming from my windows that is in front of me, probably 20 feet though. So behind me here, what I have, I'll turn this light back on. So that's 0, and I'm going to put it up to 50 for you. That's 50%, and that almost, like I'm looking at the monitor, that almost looks pretty good, so maybe I'll stay at 75%. So I think that's pretty good. I don't think I have any hot spots. I think that's good. Behind me is another Raleno light, and these are the ones that are about 12 inches. If you measure them, it's almost 11 inches wide, so diagonally I think that they advertise that as a 12-inch, and it's 19 watts. So that's a 45, and that's a 19. And over here is the Raubay LED light. It does not even tell you the number in the description. I even seen, I saw a question and answer thing from someone that asked about how many LED bulbs are in it, and the owners were saying, the manufacturer was saying it's not rated that way. So it's 19 watts, and I cannot tell you how many LED panels, lights are on there. It does have a remote control. I do have it at the highest power, but what I did is I actually took this and faced it toward the wall, hitting my big silver reflector, because I was struggling with making a video and then looking, and I could see that little square light in my glasses, and it was just bothering me. So this gives me some extra light without having that little square box, and that's what I'm trying to avoid, and that is my quest. Can I use LED lighting? Number one, is it bright enough for videos? Is it bright enough for headshots? Can I do that? Or should I just stick with videos with it? Number two is, can I use it and it be soft enough that I don't have glasses glare? So that's my things that I'm looking at. Now, the one that I have not purchased the batteries for them, and they do use those Sony's NFP, I'm not sure if I got those letters right, but the Sony batteries, and I have one of those for another light that I use, and so I don't have a pair of them. So I can't buy that, but I have, I don't know, maybe a dozen outlets in the studio. We purposely did that, so that's not a problem to plug that in if I'm in the studio. Okay, so I have a remote. It does not come with a battery. This one actually did not come with a light. The Raleno light, the smaller ones, came with 2 stands and no remote, but still they work great. Okay, so this one over here, I actually have a piece of parchment paper on it to soften it somewhat. This one, again, like I said, it was facing the wall, so there's no need to really soften it because it's hitting a wall and bouncing back. This one, I purchased a 1 foot by 1 foot softbox, so it's not near as big. It's almost as big of what I had before in the softbox, but it's not as big. Anyway, it is Velcroed on the back of that. So that's what I have. So I have the 18-inch 45-watt Raleno light panel in front of me, raised up. Right behind the camera, it's about 5 feet from me, and it's at 75% power. Behind me, this one is about 75% power as well. It is also about 5 feet from me. This is only about 3 feet from me, but it's facing the wall, and so the wall is probably a good 6 feet from me. So that's my light set up in here now. So what do you think? Do you think this lights up well enough? Is it light enough? Should I raise that a little bit so it's a little bit better? But okay, like I said, I was using that big softbox, pulling that back and forth, having to carry it with me, and it was kind of bulky. And if I want to do a video while I'm in like behind the scenes, while I'm doing a session, it's even more cumbersome. So you can use the modeling lights, and I have, and I've posted videos of it. The modeling lights serve to light up enough that you can see what you're doing while you're taking the pictures, and then the strobe completely overpowers them, but they are very yellow, warm lighting, and so I don't like to use them. So if I want to do any behind the scenes, I really need to have something like this. All right, so I'm going to do some test shots, and I'll do some like fast forward it so you can see it, but I'm going to do some test shots to see what you think. I'm going to do some test shots with the Raleno light, and I'm going to do that with the light with the way that it is, this 3-point setup. Then I'm going to use my beauty dish and try that out. It's not really, it's a beauty softbox. It's kind of a combination. But use it. I'm playing around today with some reflectors, and I don't know how many. A lot of people use the. I actually saw this last week. I saw somebody. I don't know. You can see I'm holding it. And I've had people say, well, you can have your person hold it, and that's kind of awkward. And then there's a lot of highlighters out there that is curved, and I've not purchased that. I've not tried that. And I actually watched a video last week, and the person I watched, they literally took their panel, their reflector, and just put it on the floor. So that's what I'm going to try today to see what it is, because it's just bouncing light up. And I'll tell you what, when you're using the beauty dish and you put it up high enough that you don't have huge glasses glare, you're raising it, it's coming down, so you don't have, if you put it here, it's beautiful lighting. You raise it up here and you get rid of the glasses glare. But then what that does is give you a darker shadow under the chin. So by having a reflector, that kind of makes it more even. It's trying to have that. It's crazy because you want to have beautiful even lighting, and at the same time you want to have shadows because it gives character. If you have too flat of a lighting, it just is boring. You want to have some kind of definition, some kind of shadows, because it's so it just doesn't look flat is the best way to say it, but yet people will call LED lighting as flat lighting, and that merely means that it's even lighting. Okay, so here we go. All right, I'm going to now record the rest of this in my home office and kind of walk you through looking at different the different lights with this softbox, with the LED, just different things, and see what we come up with. All right, here's our first image. We have the Raleno lighting, the 45-watt, 18-inch. I have the ISO set at 640, aperture 2.8, shutter speed 125. This is completely straight out of camera. I remember that I am using over here in the corner the smaller Raleno light, the 12-inch one for the hair light. And I have a small light over here bouncing off the wall to kind of add some. You can see it a little bit. So this is it's nice lit. It's even lit mostly. Yeah, I like the hair light. I've got light on my hair. It's not spilling onto my face. It's positioned pretty good. And then let me show you the edit. So this is with the edit. This is raising the exposure and then running my typical edits, and which is sharpening the eyes, softening the skin, whitening the teeth, and then I add a little extra action that gives a little punch to the skin, a little bit of exposure lift to the skin so that there's a little bit more focus. And I do that with all of them. It's not just this. But I would say that I would not hesitate to use this as a headshot, a profile picture. I like the image. It's actually nice and soft. You don't see harsh lighting. And with the exposure set as it is, I like it a lot. But remember, this is within 5 to 6 feet of the light. It does have a nice little catch light. I didn't even notice that before. There is no glasses glare, which I'm really excited about. You can see here where if I lifted my head, I probably would have some. This is the same setup, except I don't have the reflector. So, and this is the edit without the reflector. Because I felt like it was a little bit darker and had deeper shadows, I raised the exposure. So it's really bright, maybe a little bit too bright. But let's move into the Glow Easy Lock 34-inch beauty dish. This is in the Godox SK400II at 1/16 of power. So you see the difference. That Raleno is at 100% power, and this one is, has so much more power that it could go. And I've changed all the settings. The ISO is at 100, aperture 3.2, and the shutter speed's at 1/250. Now this back here I have, so I'm using this as a 2-light setup really. So that's the beauty dish in the SK400II, and then back here I have a flash, a Godox flash in a smaller light softbox. I think it could be, I need to move forward a little bit because I'm starting to get a little bit of light spill on my face, but it's nice. And I think preference-wise, it could be, do you like the shadows? That's kind of like a preference thing there, because it is a little bit brighter on this side. Now here's the same image, but edited. And again, I've ran those same typical edits with the, the action on the skin and upping the exposure just a little bit. Really, it's just a tiny bit. So here, let's go look at the edits. So that's the strobe light with an edit, and then here's the LED panel edited. Wow, you really can see a difference in the strength and the power. And what I want you to notice too is the light spread. Look at the background. Now, in the video, you can tell that this is definitely a gray background. So here with this one, it looks gray. It looks like it's true to life. This one, because there's not as much light spill, it changes the color of the background completely. So here it is with the Raleno. Let's look at the the glow. Here it is with the glow, and it's much more true to life. And then I'm going to switch you to the 64-inch PLM. Now I'm holding up a number 1 because I took away everything other light. So it doesn't have a hair light, and it's just this one light. There's no reflector. This is just illustrating the larger light spread with that 64-inch PLM. Again, it's the same thing in the Godox SK400II 1/16 power. But you can see that the whole background looks gray, and it, you know, it is, I do have it raised enough that it's more power at the top as opposed to the bottom. Also, this backdrop does have that in it. It is a little bit lighter right here and darker down here. And that's the way they made it. So it's just a bigger light spread. Here is the same image for the 64-inch PLM, but I added the silver reflector. And I was really surprised at that, of how much more, because of the larger light spread, because, you know, it has more light hitting the reflector, but it is quite a bit of difference. And, you know, you use silver and it gives you what they call specular highlights, and you can see that. It is a little bit more highlights, but I do like it a lot. And so then I want to, just for fun, I did some tiny lights, just, you know, to kind of give a comparison, trying to understand the idea of the size of the light, the size of the softbox, and the light spread that it produces. So this is the 12-inch Raleno. This works for me on at my desktop setup. It's only about 12 inches diagonally, and I taped a piece of parchment paper on there. I increased the ISO to 1000. The shutter speed I put back down to 160. The aperture's at 2.8, and this is straight out of camera. Now you can see a little bit of glasses glare there. It's not bad. Maybe if I'd raised it just a little bit, you wouldn't see that at all. You are seeing the glasses post, you know, my frame is showing. So there are some lights that's coming in there. And I didn't even take the time to edit this, but basically just to kind of show this. So again, the background is more of a brownish color, almost black toward the bottom. Mostly though, it is a nice even light. For the size that it's putting out, I would say it's very good quality for the size and for what you're doing it. Most people do not use these for portraits, so I think it just kind of is showing the softness of it. Now those small Raubay lights that I have, that I use as my background lights for my desktop setup, and I even have that was one that I was using off to the side to kind of bounce off the reflector to kind of add a fill light, just a tiny bit. Now these are 19 watt, and like I said, the company does not give you any more specifications for that. And these are small, so these are about 8 inches by 6 inches. I didn't measure it completely, but they're very small. And you can see how close it is to me because I'm holding it up to kind of illustrate that, and it's in the corner. So my lighting is not bad. Now you are getting some little bit of glasses, the frame shadows, but this whole side of my face is not lit at all. It's not really powerful enough to light anything but what is right here. So there's no light spill over here at all. The background looks black. This looks like a dark brown. But really it's not bad for the size. And then I even took it and I held it in front of me. So it does produce some really nice light if you're one to 2 feet away from it. So that's the difference in light spread. That's just giving you an idea of how much light is going to spread out, you know, on the wall, how much is going to go on your background, your backdrop, and just really you can use. So my conclusion would be, yeah, you can use those LED lights, but it's so much easier. So if I had a small space and I was going somewhere, maybe that I couldn't pack up my one of my Godoxes. If I'm going somewhere, I would probably take my AD200 and not this large SK400i because it's huge. But if I had a small space and I had to take a picture of someone, I think I could get away with the Raleno lighting. You know, I would have to do some edits to up the exposure just a little bit, or maybe move it a little bit closer. But I'm really pleased with how that small softbox really takes away from the glasses glare, and you could even see a catch light in there. So tell me what you think. That's it for this week. I'll see you next time. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe. Bye for now.